So let x, y belongs to z. Z is what? Set of integers. And let n be a positive integer. Then we define x congruent to y modulo n. Okay. So everyone is familiar with this. Okay. This symbol. Okay. X is congruent to y modulo n. If n should divide x minus y, or x minus y can be expressed as x minus y is equals to qn, where q is also some integer. Okay. So clearly the congruence, this symbol is called congruence. Okay. Clearly the congruence is an equivalence relation. What is meant by equivalence relation? If it satisfies three properties, which one that? So that are, first one is reflexivity, second one is symmetricity, and third one is transitivity. Okay. If these three properties are satisfied by the corresponding relation, then we say that the relation is equivalence relation. So this x congruent to y modulo n, this congruence is an equivalence relation. Now here we denote this bar x, okay, or conjugate of x is the equivalence class of x. So let z by n, let z by n denote the set of all equivalence classes. This z by n is what? Set of all equivalence classes. So let it be zn is equals to, denoted as this bar 0, bar 1, up to and so on, bar n minus 1. Okay. So these are the what? So this z by n contains all the equivalence classes, like equivalence class of 0, equivalence class of 1, and equivalence class of n minus 1. So if I collect set of all equivalence classes, nth equivalence classes under modulo n, so then I got this set z by n. We define addition in z by n as follows. It could be defined as x bar plus y bar is equals to bar of x plus y. Okay. So this is the addition defined over this set zn. Okay. So for any conjugate x comma conjugate y belongs to zn, we have conjugate x plus conjugate y. Now what actually this sums? Okay, remember that this conjugate 0, conjugate 1, these are not numbers. Okay, these are not numbers, they are equivalence classes. Okay. So conjugate of x plus conjugate of y, sum is equals to what? So this sum is equals to list non-negative remainder obtained when x plus y is divided by n. Okay. So this means what? After, if we add x and y, okay, if we add x and y and divided by that sum by n, okay, if we divided this sum x plus y by n, then whatever the least remainder remains, then whatever the least remainder remains is the sum of x bar plus y bar. Okay. Now we are going to prove this sum is well defined. Okay. Suppose conjugate x is equals to conjugate of x dash and conjugate of y is equals to conjugate of y dash. Then clearly n divides x minus x dash and n divides y minus y dash. Hence by the property of divisibility, n should divide the sum of these two integers x minus x dash and y minus y dash, which can be expressed as n could be divided as x plus y minus x dash plus y dash. Okay. So as n is dividing this one, this implies conjugate of x plus y is equals to conjugate of x dash plus y dash. So hence this sum is well defined. Okay. This zn is a group. Okay. So for that, so clearly it satisfies associativity law. Now what would be the identity? So clearly 0 is the identity element. Okay. So if we add 0 with any of the number, if we add this conjugate 0 with any of the element of this 1 bar, 2 bar, up to n minus 1 bar, then resulting quantity is what? That number itself. Okay. So that's why 0 bar is the identity, and conjugate of negative x, okay, conjugate of negative x is the inverse of conjugate x. Okay. So as existence of identity, existence of inverse, and associativity also holds. Okay. Thus by the definition of group, zn forms a group. Okay. And this is called integers modulo n group. Okay. Under addition. Okay. So zn is a additive group. Also it is an abelian group. Why it is abelian group? because sum is commutative. Okay, suppose n is equals to 5. Okay, so here if I take value of n is equals to what, n is positive integer, so I choose n is equals to 5. So what is my z5? So z5 is equals to what, conjugate 0, conjugate 1, conjugate 2, up to how much, 5 minus 1, that is conjugate 4. Z5 is equals to what, conjugate 0, conjugate 1, and so on, conjugate 4. Now under addition, how the binary operation addition defines, conjugate x plus conjugate y is equals to what, conjugate of x plus y. Okay, and conjugate of x plus conjugate of y is nothing but least non-negative remainder obtained when x plus y is divided by n. Okay, so suppose if I pick up two elements, conjugate 3 and conjugate 4. Okay, so it is easy to verify that conjugate 3 plus conjugate 4 is equals to 2. After dividing 3 plus 4 by 5, I got remainder 2. That's why conjugate 3 plus conjugate 4 is 2. Okay. So here I exhibited reason, since the least non-negative remainder in 3 plus 4 equals to 7 is divided by 5 is 2. Okay. So clearly here 0 is the identity. Okay. 0 is the identity. Why? Because if I add, suppose conjugate 0 plus conjugate 1, conjugate 0 plus conjugate 1, how much? 0 plus 1, and when 1 divided by 5, remainder is 1. So that's why conjugate 0 plus conjugate 1 is equals to how much? Conjugate 1. Okay. Similarly, if I add 0 in any of the numbers, suppose if I add 0 in any arbitrary number, a belongs to Z5. So conjugate 0 plus conjugate a is equal to how much? 0 plus a, how much? A. If I divide a by 5, then remainder is what? A itself. Okay, so that's why 0 is the identity element. Suppose one wish to find inverse of 1. How to find inverse? What is mean by inverse? If a is any element, then its inverse, how to find? Then we say that b is its inverse. Okay, b is inverse of a if and only if a star b is equals to identity, where star is what, respect to binary operation on that set. So here star is what, addition modulo. Okay, so here suppose I wish to find inverse of conjugate 4. So conjugate 4 plus conjugate 1, how much? Conjugate 4 plus conjugate 1, it means what? I have to divide the sum of 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1 is what? 5. 5 is divisible by 5. So if I divide 5 by 5, then remainder is what? 0. So that's why by definition of inverse, conjugate 4 has inverse conjugate 1, or one can say conjugate 1 has inverse conjugate 4. So 4 and 1 are inverse of each other. Okay, 1 and 4 are inverse of each other. Similarly, conjugate 2 and conjugate 3 are inverse of each other. Okay, so here I found each and every element has inverse. So as Z5 contains identity element and there exists inverse for each and every element, and Z5 itself satisfy associativity and it is non-empty set and it contains 5 elements. That's why your set Z5 forms a group under addition modulo what? 5. Okay. Now come to the next example. So in first example we discuss integer modulo n under addition. Now we are going to discuss integers modulo n under multiplication. Okay. So consider this Zn as in A. Okay, as in first example. Here n is was positive integer and this is a symbol for set of integers. Okay, so we define a multiplication in Zn as conjugate x into conjugate y is equal to conjugate of product xy. Okay, this is well defined. Okay, this product is well defined. So for conjugate x comma conjugate y belongs to Zn, we have conjugate x into conjugate y. This product is the least non-negative remainder obtained when xy, when the product xy is divided by n. As there is sum, here is product. Okay, so clearly Zn is semi-group with identity. Okay, multiplication is associativity. Okay, it satisfies associativity. Also there exists an identity element. Which one is that? 1. Okay, we see here. And the set Zn star. Zn star means what? It contains those elements which has inverse. Okay, it contains those elements in the set Zn which has inverse. Okay, so Zn star consisting of the invertible elements in Zn. Okay, getting this? Here I collect a set of elements which are invertible. So which elements are invertible in Zn? So simply one can say all the non-zero elements. Okay, Zn star is nothing but the set of all the non-zero elements in the Zn. Okay, so as here Zn is this. Okay, so my Zn star is what? Here Zn star becomes, in the Zn star which elements occurs other than conjugate 0, means conjugate 1, conjugate 2 up to conjugate n minus 1 star. So Zn star possesses conjugate 1 up to conjugate n minus 1 star. Okay, and this Zn star forms a multiplicative group. Okay, Zn stars form a multiplicative group of order phi n. Phi n is a Euler function, is the set which contains those numbers which are less than n and co-prime to n. Means phi of n contains those numbers, the set phi of n contains those numbers such that numbers are less than n, and GCD of such numbers with n is 1. Okay. So this is phi n. So now here Zn star. So what is cardinality of Zn star? Means how many elements does Zn star contains? So Zn star contains exactly phi n numbers. Okay, so as like here in this example, okay, here Z5. Suppose if one wish to find Z5 star, so how many elements that Z5 star contains? Z5 star contains exactly phi of 5 numbers. Phi of 5 is how much? As p is prime, phi of p is always p minus 1 for any prime p. So here phi of 5 is equals to how much? 5 minus 1, that is 4 elements. So there are Z5 star contains only 4 elements, which, so in this way one can prove Zn star forms a multiplicative group of order phi of n. Okay, now permutation under usual composition. Let X be a non-empty set. What is X? X be any non-empty set. Okay, and let G be the set of bijective mappings on X to X. Okay, so what is G? G is set of those mappings which are bijective. Bijective means what? Which are both 1 1 and on 2. Okay, and that mapping define over what? Define over X to X. Okay, means domain and codomain of that mappings are X itself. Okay, and X is what? Non-empty set. Okay, then this set G is a group under the usual composition of mappings. In this group G, the unit element of G is the what? Identity map. Okay, so unit element is treated as identity map. So this group is called a group of permutation of X, or it is known by famous name symmetric group on X. Okay, this group is denoted by Sx. Okay, now here X is what? X is any non-empty set, and if I take collection of those mappings which are bijective, okay, then such collection forms a group, and that group is called as permutation group or symmetric group, which is denoted by the symbol Sx. Okay, now if cardinality of X is n, now here at the beginning I won't discuss what is cardinality. X is only non-empty set. It may be finite or it may be infinite. Now if cardinality of X is finite, means if cardinality of X is n, then how many elements in the group Sx? How many elements? Then Sx is a group of order n factorial. Symmetries of a geometric figure. So consider the permutation of the set X of all points of some geometric figures. We define a permutation sigma from X to X. So this permutation is defined as a symmetry of S when it preserves distances. Okay, that is d of a comma b is equals to t of sigma of a comma sigma of b. So how this group defined? Sigma from X to X, okay, is the symmetry of S when it preserves the distances. It means what? D of a comma b is equals to d of sigma of a comma sigma of b, where a and b are elements of this set X. Okay, okay, so where d of a comma b denotes the distance between the points a and b. Okay, if sigma comma tau are two symmetries, then what? Then d of sigma of t of a comma sigma of t of b is equals to what? D of sigma of t of tau of a comma sigma of tau of b, which is equals to what? Because tau is also symmetry. Okay, tau is also symmetry. So tau of a maps to, so tau of a, so sigma of tau of a maps to tau of a, sigma of tau of b maps to tau of b. So that's why value of sigma of tau of a is what? tau of A, and value of sigma of tau of B is what? Tau of B. So therefore, finally, d of sigma of tau of A, comma sigma of tau of B is equals to what? D of tau of A, comma tau of B. Okay, but tau is also symmetry. Okay, tau is also symmetry. As sigma is symmetry, tau is also symmetry, and tau of A maps to A, tau of B maps to B. So that's why d of tau of A, comma tau of B is equals to what? D of A, comma B, by this definition. Okay, by this definition. Thus sigma into tau is also a symmetry. Okay, clearly the identity permutation is a symmetry. Further, if sigma is symmetry, then dou of sigma inverse of A to sigma inverse of B. If I operate sigma on both sides, so what happen? Sigma into sigma inverse of A, sigma into sigma inverse of B, which is nothing but what? Dou of, sorry, D of A, comma B. Thus, there also exists sigma inverse. Okay. Hence, the set of symmetries of S forms a group under composition of mapping. So consider a special case when X is the set of points on the perimeter of an equilateral triangle. So as here X is chosen as set of all points. Okay, so here I take particular points on equilateral triangles. How many points are there? 3 points. How many vertices? 3. This one, this one, this one. Okay, so this 1, 2, 3. Okay, these are the vertices. This 1, 2, 3 are not numbers. Okay, remember this 1, 2, 3 are just symbols. So here cardinality of X is how much? Number of vertices for equilateral triangle. Okay, so how many they are? They are 3 vertices. The counterclockwise rotations through 0 degree, 2 times pi by 3 degree, 4 times pi by 3 degree. Okay, so now we rotate this triangle, okay, in counterclockwise direction. Counterclockwise direction means other than anti-clockwise, that is clockwise direction. Okay, means like this, like this. Okay, so the counterclockwise rotations through 0 degree, then 2 times pi by 3, 4 times pi by 3. Pi by 3 means what? 60 degree. Why I chosen pi by 3? Because each angle of equilateral triangle is what? Of 60 degree. Okay, are 3 of the symmetries. So these are the rotations, are the symmetries that move the vertices in the following manner. Okay, in this manner. So let's see how it occurs. Suppose if I choose angle 0 degree, first rotation at 0 degree, what it is, what change? 1 remains at its place, 2 remains at its place, 3 remains at its place. Okay, now at the rotation of 2 pi by 3, 2 pi by 3 means how much? 120 degree. Okay, so if I rotate this triangle from here, if I rotate this as 120 degree, okay, so 120 degree means how much? How much? Look at here. First, when I rotate first times, okay, 1 goes to here. Okay, so what is this angle? So how much angle it covers? If 1 come up till it comes to 3, it is covers 60 degree, but we have to rotate at 2 pi by 3 means how much? 120 degrees. So 60 plus 60, how much? 120. So for 120 degree, this one, if I move in 120 degree, this one goes to where? 2. Okay, 1 goes to where? 2. So while moving triangle, as 1 goes to 2, then at 120 degree, 3 goes to where? This is 60, this is 60. So 120. So 3 goes to where? 1. And similarly, 2 goes to where? 3. Here 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, and 3 goes to 1. At what degree? At 120 degree. Okay, now at 4 pi by 3. So 4 pi by 3 is equivalent to what? 60 degree. So if I rotate 4 pi by 3 means what? This is 60, this is 60, this is 60, this is 60. So 1 goes to where? At 4 pi by 3 means at 240 degree. Now this is at 60 degree it comes to 3, at 20 degree it comes to 2, at 180 degree it comes to 1 original place, and at 240 degree it comes to 3. Means at 240 degree when I rotate at 4 pi by 3, 1 goes to where? 3. Okay, so at 3 goes to where? At 4 pi by 3. So at 60 it 2, at 120 it is 1, at 180 it is 3, and at 240 it is 2. Okay, similarly at 240, 2 goes to where? 1. Okay, similarly here, So what obtained? 1 goes to 3, 2 goes to 1, and 3 goes to 2. Okay. And this commonly written as, okay, I write this as 1, 2, 3. So 1 goes to where? 1. 2 goes to where? 2. 3 goes to where? 3. So at 0 degree, there is no change. So I treated this as E. E is what? For identity. Okay. So this is treated as E. Now A equals to this rotation at 2 pi by 3, I treated as A. Okay. So here 1 goes to where? First write 1, 2, 3. 1 goes to where? 2. 2 goes to where? 3. 3 goes to where? 1. So this is A. So at 240 degree, at 240 degree, 1 goes to 3, 2 goes to 1, 3 goes to 2. Okay. So under counterclockwise rotation, I found three elements, E, A, and A square. Okay. E, A, and A square. So three other symmetries are the reflections. Okay. So first symmetry is under rotation, and next three other symmetries are under reflection. Reflections in the altitudes through the three vertices. Okay. So how many vertices? So these are three vertices. 1, 2, 3. So so okay, so these are these altitudes. Okay, through these vertices I have three altitudes. Through 1 this altitude, through 2 this altitude, and through 3 this altitude. Okay. Now under reflection, reflection means what? Okay, reflection means what? Suppose this one is as mirror. Okay, under this reflection 1. Okay, suppose this line 1 through this altitude, suppose this is mirror. Then if we see here, 2 goes to where? If I flip this, if I flip this like this, okay, if I flip this, then 2 and 3 are get exchange, means 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 2, 1 remains. Okay, from 1 if I flip this triangle, then 2 goes to where? 3, 3 goes to where? 2. Okay, so here it is. If I flip through the altitude from vertices, from vertex 1, then what? 2 and 3 change its place. So 2 goes to 3 and 3 goes to 2. Similarly, now look at here, through this altitude to the vertex 2. Okay, if I flip the triangle, okay, if I flip the triangle, then 3 goes to 1, 1 goes to 3, and 2 remains same. Okay, similarly from this altitude of the from this vertex, which is at which altitude? This. Okay, from this altitude if I flip the triangle, then 2 goes to 1, 1 goes to 2, but 3 remains at its place. Okay, so in this way, so if through altitude to the vertex 2, 3 goes to 1, 1 goes to 3, 1 goes to 3, and at altitude through the vertex 3, 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1. So this may be written as B is equals to 1, 2, 3. 1 goes to where? 1. In this case, 2 and 3 get interchanged. That's why 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 2. Similarly, next is what? This one. This can be written as 1 goes to 3, then 3 goes to 1, and 2 remains same. Similarly, AB. Okay, this can be written as in this format. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1, and 3 goes to 2. 3 goes to 3. Now here I noted this symbol as A square B, AB. Okay, why? If I operate A on A, then I obtain A square, and A square is nothing but this value. Okay. Similarly, if I operate A square on B, then I get this one. If I operate A on B, then I get this one. Through reflection, we get 3 elements, and from rotation, we get 3 elements. So total, how many elements? 6 elements. Means if cardinality of X is 3, then there must exist 6 elements. That is 3 factorial. Okay. Where the product is composition of mappings, means this product A into B. Okay, AB, A square B. This is nothing but the binary operation is what? Composition. Okay. The set of 6 symmetries is a complete list of symmetries of an equilateral triangle. Okay. So this is what? This is a 6 symmetry set. Which are they? E, A, AB, A square B, and A square. These are the 6 symmetries. Okay. We denote this group by D3. We denote this group by D3 called a dihedral group. This group is called as dihedral group. Why we are denoting this by D3? Because this is defined on 3 symbol. Okay, because D3 is subset of S3, and each group contains 6 elements. Therefore, D3 is equal to S3, and the symmetry group S3 can be expressed as S3 is equals to E123 132 123 213 312. Okay, so here look at here. E is what your E is this 1 1 2 3. Okay, A is what your, now we are representing this A in the cycle notation. So cycle notation is what here 1 2 3. Suppose here, now this B, where is B here? You can find B here also. Okay, one is fixed. Okay, one is fixed, 2 goes to 3 and 3 goes to 2. This is a cycle. Okay, this is called cycle. Okay, this element is what? This element is A square B. This element is what? A square B. Here 2 is fixed and 1 and 3 get exchanged. Okay, this element is what? AB, because here is 3 is fixed, here also 3 is fixed. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1. Okay, so S3 and D3 are same. Okay, so this is the practical example of the most important examples in group theory. So everyone know the concept of matrix. Okay, what is existence of inverse in matrix, what is determined, this concept is familiar to you. Okay, so on that basis, define one example, linear groups. Let G, L, and F. What is F here? F is a field. Okay, F is a field, and N is greater than or equal to 1, means N is natural number. So let GL and F be the set of N by N invertible matrices over a field F. GL and F is what? GL and F is the set which contains invertible matrices over a field F. Invertible matrices means what? That their determinant is non-zero. Okay, then that set G, L, and F is a group under multiplication. This group is called the general linear group. So remember this example, GLNF is the set of all n by n invertible matrices, and this set forms a group under the usual matrix multiplication. Okay, and such group is called general linear group. Getting this? This is a standard example. Now suppose if I collect one subset, consider the subset SLNF. Consider the subset SLNF of GLNF consisting of matrices of determinant 1. Now we claim that SLNF is a group under multiplication. So first we say it is closed. Okay, so let A and B are two matrices from the set SLNF, then determinant of AB. Okay, now we are going to prove AB belongs to SLNF. When we say AB belongs to SLNF, if determinant of AB is equals to 1, then only we say that AB belongs to SLNF. So determinant of AB is equals to determinant of A into determinant of B by the property of determinant. But as A and B are members of SLNF, so determinant of A must be 1 and determinant of B must be 1. So 1 into 1, 1. So as determinant of AB is equal to 1, that's why AB also belongs to SLNF. Okay. Clearly it satisfies associativity also. Now existence of identity. So whether identity, IN means what? N by N identity matrix. Whether identity matrix belongs to SLNF or not? Yes, because determinant of identity matrix is what? For any order. Okay, determinant of identity matrix is always 1. That's why IN belongs to SLNF. Okay, so existence of identity also. Now we claim A inverse should belongs to SLNF. Okay, so determinant of A inverse into determinant of A. Okay, determinant of A inverse into determinant of A is equals to what? Determinant of A inverse A by the properties of determinant. But A inverse A is nothing but what? Identity matrix. So that's why this is equals to what? Determinant of IN, and its determinant is what? 1. This implies determinant of A inverse is equals to 1. Why? Because A is member of SLNF. That's why determinant of A is 1. Okay, so determinant of A inverse into 1 is how much? 1. That's why determinant of A inverse is 1. Hence, A inverse also belongs to SLNF. Therefore, as the set SLNF under usual matrix multiplications satisfies 3 axioms of a group, hence SLNF forms a group under multiplication. What it is called? This is called as spatial linear group. Okay, and GLNF is called as general linear group.